Okay, the adoption of the agenda. It's recommended that the agenda of the June 13th, 2022 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Chris motions, a second?
I'll second.
Second by Melissa. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. It's recommended that the minutes of the May 9th, 2022 regular board meeting be approved as presented.
I'll motion.
George a motion. Second?
I'll second George's motion.
Matt will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then we have statements from the public. So the first person, Mike Shelton,
Do I have to come somewhere? Oh, okay.
right over here.
Mike Shelton of Rockport, Ohio Township. I would like for the board to consider putting in the 2022-2023 budget a line item to pay someone to video and post the meetings on the website. Not everyone can see the meetings. It's not eligible to everyone. So I would like for there to be a line item where we can pay somebody to videotape it, post it publicly, so everyone that votes can see it and do it. It's my only request.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
I like it, Mike. Appreciate it.
And then next we have Frank Ingram.
Yeah, yes, excuse me a little bit, I've got a raspy voice tonight, but, my concern or my comment this evening has to do with last month's minutes, because the public speaks early in the session or in the meeting, then you have your business later. I was concerned or questioned, you approved an architect's contract, revised his contract. There was no discussion whatsoever as to what the scope of work was, how much money he was gonna charge you, or anything. I'm just surprised that, I mean, I went back through the minutes for the last 2 years. I didn't see any scope of work identified. So can we improve on that, enlighten us a little bit on the board not having any discussion at all and spending in excess of $3 million? And the scope of work, especially, you said something about around $3 million. Well, what do we get for $3 million? What determined that something was wrong with the football field? Do we have an engineer's report? Do we have a study? Or do we just look out there and say, another school's got better facility than we do, we need new? I'd like to see justification for spending that money. Also like to see board members discuss a little bit. I've been to meetings, I just started coming about a year and a half ago, and I ain't heard George ask one question except motion. I've heard the rest of us talk a little bit, but not very much. Also, when I was on the website, I thought, well, maybe they were doing this in executive session. So I looked up, and you don't have any minutes for executive sessions. I asked about it, and they said, board's been told, but they've not done it yet. Well, how you making these decisions if you're not talking about them in public, and you don't have, it's not recorded? How are we making these decisions to spend money? Especially, start talking, $3 million to you guys ain't much when you spend somebody else's money. You start spending my money, it's a lot. What is our debt service? Anybody talk about that before you start spending more money? How are we gonna pay for it? I'd like to see somebody speak up and discuss some of these items. We speak up and talk about how, we've already ran this Dr. Rutherford off. We spend more time on that subject than we have what taxpayers representing money, spent the money. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have the superintendent's report.
Talking about that, not to answer questions, but to answer questions as well, but, as far as facilities goes, I know that, you know, there was like a 5-year plan. And I shared that with you guys like a year and a half ago, when you come on to, you know, hey, this is what's happening now, this is what's happening next year, this is possibility for the next year, and it's like 5 years out of a plan. So there is a plan moving forward. There are architects, everything else, there are studies, you know, looking at the bleachers. So the project, I think Dean went over that project a couple of meetings ago, you know, with the football bleachers, and then also that includes the lights, LED lights. Softball, baseball hitting facility has also been in the works for several years now, just waiting until the time is right to do it. So that's been pushed off. I know even since I've been here, it's been on the radar for about 5 years now. Even the football field or the stadium, nothing to do with the field. Field stays the same. There was conversation about going to turf, decided that was too expensive to do something like that. So this project also includes softball field as well. It includes the lights, seating as well, and also dugouts. And those were the original dugouts back when, gosh, I think it was Golden built it, you know, back in the day. So there are some of those things. As far as debt service goes, about $1.4 million a year for debt service, and we just did an $18 million renovation, 2 years ago when we finished it up, and of that $18 million renovation, that'll be totally paid off in 2028. So, and then that will be debt free, so there's no more, you know, debt after that. So that's just kind of a quick rundown. I don't know if that answered anything, but you're welcome to call anytime, and I'll try to fill you in on more. Other things that are going on, this summer we do have the feeding program going on at Rockport Elementary. We will serve from Monday through Friday at Rockport Elementary, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And then meals are available for anybody under 18 years old. And it's going to run Monday through Friday from July 22nd, except for July 22nd and July 4th, until school starts. And that's it for me.
Okay, then we have the consent items. Approve the payroll claim dockets and the accounts payable claims number 474 to 625. Approve the month-end fund transfers as presented. Approve the treasurer's financial report. Accept the resignations of the following. Approve to post the positions and grant permission to hire. Leslie Edge, the South Spencer Middle School 8th grade girls volleyball, effective May 12th, 2022. Rachel Jaggers, high school teaching assistant, effective May 19th, 2022. Nathan Tucker, middle school football helper, effective May 4th, 2022. Jennifer Daming, high school prom sponsor, effective May 5th, 2022. James Kingsley, high school boys JV basketball coach, effective May 31st, 2022. And then James Kingsley again as the high school boys tennis coach, effective May 31st, 2022. And then approve the out-of-state overnight transportation request for the girls basketball to Transylvania University in Lexington, June 21 to 23 in 2022. Football to Hanover College in Hanover, Indiana, July 12th through 14th of 2022. And marching band to Orlando, Florida, March 25th through the 30th of 2023. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
George will motion, a second.
I'll second.
Melissa seconds. Any discussion?
How are these, transportation requests being funded?
Operational fund.
So the band booster is not paying for the band trip, except their expenses while they're there?
Correct.
They're doing
All
lots of
transportation,
fundraisers.
all transportation is taken care of through operational fund. That means the bus driver and then also the gas. Any other extra expenses are taken care of through the students or the band boosters.
I didn't catch that. Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And then we have administrative recommendations. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Maddie Brown as a high school assistant cheer coach starting the 2022-23 school year. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion, a second.
I'll motion.
George will second, right, George? Okay, any discussion there? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Brandon Neighbors as a middle school football coach, starting the 2022-23 season. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Chris motions, a second.
I'll second his motion.
Matt seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Megan Pruitt, Rockport Elementary Pre-K assistant, starting the 2022-23 school year. Motion?
I'll motion.
Melissa motions, a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is that the day one of school starting for that year?
Right.
Okay. One only question I have.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Renee Edge as a middle school 8th grade volleyball coach, starting the 2022-23 school year. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Chris motions, a second?
I'll second.
Second by Melissa. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Caleb Gravemeyer as a middle school 7th grade volleyball coach, starting the 2022-23 school year.
I move that we hire Mr. Gravemeyer as the volleyball coach.
Motion by Matt, a second.
I'll second.
Second by Melissa. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Rebecca McCaffrey, Luce Elementary I-Read summer teacher, starting May 23rd of 2022.
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion. A second.
I'll second.
George will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Kyle Vincent as the high school, middle school music teacher, starting August 2nd, 2022, pending clear background check.
I'll motion.
George will motion. A second.
I'll second.
Chris will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Kyle Vincent as the high school vocal music secondary and drama club director, starting 2022-23 school year, pending clear background check. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion. A second.
I'll second.
Second by Chris. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire Kyle Vincent as the middle school honors choir, starting the 2022-23 school year, pending clear background check.
I'll motion.
George will motion. A second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to hire the following for the high school summer band: Jack Forte percussion, Becky Harpenall guard, Shelby Harpenall guard, pending clear background check, Maria Rust visual and brass tech, and Christine Bunch is for guard.
I'll make a motion.
Chris will motion. A second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Looks like a lot of familiar names in those positions.
Yes. That's always good.
Absolutely.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And then we have new business of the board. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to change the monthly board meeting from October 10th to the 17th in 2022 because of fall break.
I'll motion.
motion, a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Matt, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to trade in 3 66 passenger buses to purchase 1 72 passenger bus. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Chris will motion, a second?
I'll second.
George will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the new South Spencer Teacher Evaluation Plan rubric for evaluating teachers. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Chris will motion, a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the budget calendar for 2023 as presented.
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion. A second?
I'll second.
Chris will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, grant permission to apply for the following grants for the 2022-23 school year. Title I, Title II, Title IV, Health Issues and Challenges, and the ARPHCY 2. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Melissa will motion. A second?
I'll second.
George will second. Any discussion?
Are any of these more than a certain percentage that we have to match, no matches?
How, is this something that reoccurs every year that?
Most of them are just reoccurring, yeah. Just get ordered.
I wasn't for sure on the ARP.
Yeah.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve May 18th, 2023 as the last day to accept non-resident student transfers into South Spencer County Schools for the 2022-23 school year. That should be. Right.
Yeah, they can always transfer up until the last day. So we
Okay.
give them the other day to
I
transfer
see.
in, and the last two can transfer.
As I was reading that. Can I get a motion?
When the years are right.
Yeah.
Great. I'll make a motion.
I know, as I was reading it, I was like, wait. Okay, a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approved to declare the presented list of items to be obsolete, to be recycled, or sold. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is this, are we looking at recycling, or is this stuff that we're gonna have to blind bid on, or a little bit of both?
Usually like some of them will be like buses, and that's just current.
Okay, is the superintendent car in that list?
It's not, that would be a trade-in, and that's already built into the budget, for new superintendent's car, or it's not a superintendent's corporation car.
Okay.
Anybody can use it, I know AD uses it, principals, anybody can use it when they go someplace,
I mean,
so that's always the first
how-
option,
how old
teachers
is
use
that
it.
vehicle?
It's a 2007, so. Ford 500, bought from Champion Ford, so, back in the day.
All
It's so
those-
pretty, it's that gold too.
Yeah, it is.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the middle school textbook rental fees for the 2022-23 school year as presented.
I'll motion.
Wait.
Sorry, Chris.
No, it's all right.
Melissa will motion. Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the South Spencer School Corporation Student and Family Handbook for the 2022-23 school year as presented. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the resolution to transfer funds from the education fund to the Luce Daycare Fund and Rockport Elementary Preschool Fund to bring the balance in both to $0 per the requirement by the School Board of Accounts. State Board of Accounts, sorry. Can I get a motion?
I move that we make those transfers.
In a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I think we need to have some meaningful discussion on, especially if we're tracking the debt on these two areas. Definitely, I'm assuming we'll have to have that with the next superintendent, but definitely know we're tracking a loss on.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, grant permission to advertise for the high school athletic field renovation project. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I want to thank Dean for putting together the projects on some of the documentation and stuff that he provided to us. Very detailed, very professional. Appreciate it.
And that's at the office as well, if you want to see, if you want to dig down into the specs of everything.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And then we have the written reports to the board, the technology report, the maintenance report, the transportation report, and the new volunteers report. And then we have statements or concerns of the board.
The only concern or statement I had was, Mr. Ingram, I hear what you're talking about and telling us. Sometimes it's easy for us to get involved from a standpoint of getting a board packet, being involved in everything, and I understand you're telling us that we need to let the public know better, so we'll make an effort to do that. But I think we all understood what you were saying, but at the same time, we had a good understanding of what was going on, so. And let's have a discussion after this.
Apparently, you have a scope of work. You said that your assistant, you provided the scope of work. Why can't that be shared? And why can't you discuss that in a board meeting?
Yep. I understand.
So, yeah, Chris?
That's it.
Okay. I got a couple things. To reiterate what Mr. Sheldon said, I agree with the recording of the board meetings. In fact, that's one of the things that I had listed down here, a mechanism to record the board meetings to make them public. I know that some corporations do a live feed. That's a little dangerous, from my opinion. But I think we should think heavily about putting on June's or July's board meeting agenda to discuss it and weigh out the options of how you can get that where if names of students are listed, they can be redacted, or if there's policies or procedures that are broken, we can maintain the transparency of the board meeting and also for the protection of the corporation as well. On the other side of that, Dr. Rutherford, this is your last public meeting scheduled, and I would like to personally thank you not just for the the things you've done for the corporation, but the things that a lot of people don't see. I know that my daughter was in 7th grade, not this past year, but the year before, and going to Washington Catholic and Princeton and all of the soccer games away, to have a superintendent drive the school bus and to also cover for a bus driver who is sick or can't make it to work, or to fill in during a pandemic as a bus driver and have your kids get off the bus and look at you and say, hey, Dr. Rutherford was our bus driver today and he knows us all by name. I want to personally thank you and wish you well at Salem. They're getting a good one.
Any others? Okay, so our next regular meeting of the board will be Monday, July 11th, 2022 at 6 p.m. here in the multipurpose room at the high school. Time to adjourn, 6:25. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
Melissa seconds. Any discussion there? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.